My name is Taylor Walters, and I'm an executive producer and the head of production at Designsensory.
I'm Joseph Nother, executive creative director and co-founder at Designsensory.
Tennessee Valley Uncharted as a series is really multi-layered. I would like to think of it as primarily an outdoor variety show, but there's a lot of local culture worked in as well, and certainly a travel aspect.
We were approached by Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, and they were looking to completely reboot their broadcast television efforts. They had a long-running show that covered the outdoors, but it was very 60 minutes. It was filmed in a studio. When we were looking at this, we said to ourselves, you know, the world's changed since that show was conceptualized. As a whole, you started to see more cinematic approaches to telling outdoor stories. For example, Planet Earth. That's sort of what powered our original concept for the show. You can't do an outdoor show inside.
When they first came to us with the budget, we thought, sure, we can make it work. We can do 16 episodes for that in 6 weeks. We did it. I was lucky to have the crew that I had. They were incredibly willing to be pushed to think outside the box and honestly to put themselves in pretty challenging situations. One instance that comes to mind was when we went whitewater rafting down the Ocoee. We had a camera operator in the very front of the boat who filmed backwards the entire time. It was a 6-hour float down whitewater, class 5 rapids and such. So our camera operator would see all of our reactions to the rapids that were ahead of us, but he had no idea what was coming until the water went over his head. And that's just one incredible example of how willing they were to go there. The best art results from moments where you're pushing yourself. So I think it honestly resulted in better content. The authenticity of the experience was really important to us. We wanted this series to basically disarm these activities for the viewer.
And that's what really drove at the beginning the concept and how we started to cast for it in terms of a host. We wanted to find somebody who was comfortable outside, but who was not a veteran hunter or fisherman. We wanted that host to be someone that the audience could easily relate to and learn from and learn through. That was very successful for TWRA. And then we had interest in Tennessee Valley Authority, TVA, coming on as a sponsor. And inevitably what ended up happening was that they decided that they would take over the show. And the big change there is simply that we were no longer confined to Tennessee. Now we can go throughout the southeast of Tennessee Valley, the 7-state footprint, and tell similar stories, but in a more regional way. As an integrated agency, one of the great opportunities with this as well is being able to work at a higher level than just thinking about it as a production or as a branded piece of content. And that is making sure that the ecosystem, the brand looks and feels great, making sure that the show is promoted in the best way possible. And again, that's what sort of makes us a unique, I think, force in the branded content world. Is not only can we conceptualize it, we can fit it into the larger marketing strategy that a brand has, an organization has.
Because the budget was really lean, digital played a really important role in how we marketed the show. YouTube, social media, the website, and all of the emails that we would send out were a really important piece of that. So we had to be really smart about the content that we created for each of those platforms. As the seasons went on, new opportunities were coming out all the time. When we first started the show, Amazon Prime Video didn't exist, Instagram TV didn't exist. So continuing to rework our content all the way from pre-production to post-production to accommodate all of those platforms was really helpful for us.
It's such a great production. I'm proud of Taylor, I'm proud of Pop Fizz, and I'm also proud of the collaboration that's taken place on the show. We've worked with hundreds of local and regional organizations and CVBs to produce the show.
When you talk to the people that are actually from those destinations, they can uncover some of those hidden gems and also maybe even offering us some gift in kind and some cross-promotion opportunities. And that became very attractive for our programming concept.
When communities watch this, I hope that they themselves learn something new about where they live and learn to appreciate their culture more.